5-2 at half-time, and as is the way in all of those games, no goals at all in the second half. We could have predicted that one, but nobody could have predicted 5-2 at half-time.
No.
That first half, the majority of that first half performance, how impressive was that from Arsenal?
It's very impressive, and when you consider we're dealing with a time now and the results where, even though it's a London derby, West Ham are not in great form, they can't afford to lose any games now. And so, you know, to go and play in that manner, you know, I mean, it's a bit worrying when it was 4-0 and then they scored 2. I started to get Newcastle vibes, but it was more a case of, no, this team won't do that. And obviously, they're scoring the 5th. But, like, what was impressive is the way that they're blocking out the noise about them being the main challenges, because I think that now Chelsea are amongst that as well. The main thing Arsenal have to do is stay in the lane and win their games. Because, you know, the way Liverpool are going, like we said, they look imperious at the minute. So that was a great result from that point of view. They just have to win the games.
Yeah, there's no room for error now for Arsenal. But they look like they're just in great form. It's coincided, obviously, with the return of Martin Odegaard. Yeah. But it's whether that ground they lost is going to cost them come the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, the gap's there. We've spoken about that already, but I think the form that they're in attacking-wise was amazing to see. Some of the goals they scored at the weekend, Odegaard, you know, we all know how vital he is for that team, and the stats against when he's not on the team and how that reflects the way that they play. The frustrating thing was conceding 2 goals in the first half, knowing how dominant they are at the other end of the field. I think that, for me, kind of has to be the focus. Keep as many clean sheets as possible and know that your forwards can go and create and they can go and score.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic sort of recovery from Arsenal, and you feel like keeping everyone fit, this should be something they can continue to the end of the season.
Yeah, this performance and the performance against Forest, I think, were definitely their best of the season, especially considering West Ham has been a bit of a bogey team for Arteta in the last couple of years. They needed a bigger win away from home. And I think it's those non-penalty goals that we're seeing again, because we know that Arsenal, obviously reliable from the penalty spot, really good from set pieces, but it's their creativity from open play that I think a lot of fans and everyone have been struggling to see in recent weeks. But Forest game and this game, you saw that movement come back. You saw that confidence finish from Havertz. I think that makes a massive difference, and I think Wednesday's game against Manchester United is going to be really interesting.
You know what I think as well, Kels, just quickly on a couple of players that really need to, in this time where Arsenal can't afford to slip up unless Liverpool slip up, is like Martinelli and Jesus. You know, but I think Martinelli, Jesus, Raheem Sterling. I think that this is a really big moment, this stage of the season, for them to step up if called upon to deliver something. They have to.
Do you think they can? I think, unfortunately for me, I just felt like they're 3, maybe Martinelli actually the most out of them.
Yeah.
Sterling, he had a great performance against Preston in the Cup, but we haven't seen what he can do.
This is what I'm saying, Flo.
Jesus has struggled to
but what needs to happen at different stages in the season, if they're called upon, they have to do it. It's not a case of like, oh, yes, just not quite. They have to do it. Because for us to catch Liverpool, if that's the case, and probably try and get away from Chelsea the way they're going, you were going to need something else.
You need options.
Yeah, we can't just depend on that.
Does it help them that Odegaard's back, though? Because it seems to be helping all the attacking. But even Saka, who was doing well without him, is now flying. Now he's back in the side.
Yeah, but he helps everybody. And all that does is, it just shows how great Saka is, because everybody else, you can almost see things kind of fall away with Odegaard. But like with Saka, he continued to do what he does, and then improved when Odegaard gets back. And
look at the difference when he's in the team.
It's like Rodri to City. We lose him and something's gone. Too many things work off of the back of him. He's that main cog.
People always say that, how can one player make such a difference? It's not him necessarily making the difference. It's the improvement that you get from the players around him.
Yeah, and you never really know if that's a feeling or just a footballing perspective, but for him, I think it's both. I think the areas that he picks up the ball and the key passes through to Saka at the weekend, it was just, that's the kind of style of play that we love to see Arsenal play, and he is so vital when it comes to that kind of football.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so now the question is, keep it going. Like you said, the game against Manchester United is going to be huge for this, because it's a kind of unknown quantity, and Man United we'll talk about in detail a bit later on. But Manchester United look like they've clicked in some way under Ruben Amorim. Still very, very, very early days, but it's suddenly a new challenge.
Yeah, it is, and I do worry maybe about Arsenal on the break and how they defend those transition situations. I do think on the sort of balance of squad, I think Arsenal's squad is better than Manchester United. I think that's Manchester United's still a big weakness there. But I think Arsenal's home form has been better since they've come out of that little rough patch. But I think there will be that pressure against a very kind of confident team that is trying to shake things up and cause some problems. But Arsenal need to, like Jen said, get back to what was their strength last season, which was they were the best defensive team in the league. They had that foundation which got them so close to the title, and I think they need to keep that going again and build that defensive momentum because they're feeling it in attack again now.
And that plus their strength from set pieces. And you talked about Manchester City lacking physicality. Arsenal tread that line very carefully in their set pieces. They are a very strong physical presence.
Well, it's not even long ago. This is why you can't really listen to too many people. There's not too many pundits I listen to out there.
Just yourself.
Only us, and obviously us. But no, it's when people saying, "Oh, Arsenal, they've lost something." Remember, they used to have players that could play, and now they've got a lot of physicality. We need the physicality in players who can play. We've got Martin Odegaard who can play, and we've got the physicality of Marino or Declan Rice who can play. We've got Gabriel, we've got Kai Havertz. We've got physical players who can all play. But the main thing, like I say for us, Kels, is after the first 11, it's the people that come in to contribute. That's what it's going to have to be. You know what? Can I just say, with Man United, and as good as it is for them at the minute, beating Ipswich and Everton, you know, Amorim will know that this is a different kettle of fish with Arsenal. I think Arsenal, again, it's a game Arsenal have to win. You know, I think it's a free hit for Man United with their improvement. I do believe that, you know, with Ipswich and with Everton, Man United had a lot of the ball and they looked differently. They looked different with the ball. They had a lot of it. It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to be like without the ball against Arsenal. And that is the out of possession Amorim team I'm going to see. And if that kicks in, then, you know, they're going to be a problem.
Go on.
I think you're spot on when you're talking about Arsenal as a whole squad, though. I think we saw that when you're looking at a 5-2 result and it's, you know, 5 different goal scorers. That's when people are stepping up. Whether it's a set piece or not, for me, doesn't matter. You have to be scoring from all areas of how to play football, right? Physicality, style of play, everything. And you're spot on. I think to win a Premier League, whether injuries happen, players have to step up in the right moments, and that's maybe what Arsenal have lacked in previous years. Players haven't stepped up when it's become crunch time. If that happens this year, of course they can catch up.
How do you think they'll cope with being